my god. Alright, that means it's time to work. Going on the autism schedule. We used to have a fucking beeper go off when it was time for the kiddos to learn some new stuff. I never really did that shit because that was crazy. I just had the timer in my head. Alright, bucko, let's get it going. That way, when you're fucking older, you can do well in school and not get kicked out for fucking punching people. Let's learn how to chill out for a second or two, maybe. Let's just try. So, we got this and this. Alright, cool. So, fuck it. I'm on that schedule. I need to really learn. I'm from the get-go. I need a signal that it is time to work. So, I have my wake-up alarm. Oh, I need to set it again because we're only working for an hour and a half. 8:30. Okay. And set. Okay. Hour and 29 already. Oh, the startle response. The second my body hears that first thing, before I even recognize it, there's a excuse me, a full body flinch. Oh, good God. Okay. Asserts. I'm still fucking sick. How many of these? Oh, I got a lot of tissue paper. Let's go. Making your asserts more descriptive, okay? Necesito más descriptivo. Okay, or describir, to describe. Is that? Hey, easy peasy. Something about language. All right. Oh, I don't have glasses. Oof, KO. Bop. Glasses are good. Let's get it. Oh, I have to fucking mouth breathe a little bit because I still can't breathe through my nose well. I get the left nostril. Normally the right's the good one. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, because making more descriptive was like, we were using the and logical. The logical operator includes C assert, need assert. And so what is that? Assert is a function. We don't even have to do standard. Just like, we don't have to, so. Oh, it must be defined. This must be a case where it's defined. Well, no, I guess not. It's just a case where it's not. It's just a case. It's just in global name. It's not in a. It's not in its own namespace. It's in global namespace, which is why we can just refer to it as assert. We don't have to do standard or whatever the fuck because it's not in the standard namespace. It's actually just in C assert, and it seems like it's C assert. Maybe not even C++ stuff. It seems like C would mean that you have things that are C are from like the old, what do you call it? Like the legacy. Like legacy C, old shit, you get, oh, C string, and then I get access to create C strings and store them as variables instead of only being able to store standard strings now. Different stuff. Okay, so we'd say C assert, and then we'll say, let's just do health. Let's just some easy shit real quick. Player info, and then a little header file or a header guard. If not defined, player info. Define player info. Oops. And if. What is it doing? Namespace. Player info. And then let's say get health. And then this is the header. It's the for declaration. Now we need the implementation file, player info. First we need to resolve linking errors due to type differences between the declaration and the definition and resolve them at the compiler level instead of the linker level. So that way we don't have to fucking fully compile again all because of some linker shit. Because then we have to go and fix the issue because the linker flagged it, which means it's a code issue. So we have to change the code, which means we gotta fucking recompile. So fuck that. Player info.h. I didn't do it fast enough, so the autocomplete, I guess, went away. GG. Thanks, IntelliSense. Autocorrect. Okie dokie. Okay, what happened? I pressed a button. I guess I pressed Alt. Don't press Alt. Okie doke. Get health is simply, let's just say, in player info, there is, it's not const, but we could say it is static so that it's, well, if it's in a namespace, it's global, so we will say static to make it, because normal, if I just create a variable here, if I just say player health, and we say he spawns with 100, okay, and we say it's an int, duh, needs a fucking data type, that's stupid. So he is external right now by default. So if I put in extern here, it would be redundant because he's initialized, so he's not being defined anywhere else. We know this. The compiler knows this. You're just putting extern for no reason. And maybe it even has an issue. Maybe it has an error because it's flagging it. No, it's not. It's just the function for now. Okay. Well, if I made him const, I would need to make him extern for me to access him from another file. But in this case, we could technically make him const and then encapsulate him. So we just have this file return this value. So we can't access this guy directly, even with including the header file. We can't access the definition because the definition is only exposed in this file. So we don't even want the declaration to be somewhere else. We only want the definition. That's it. Initialization, that's all. But in this case, we can do static because we don't want it to be const, but we want it to have internal linkage, so we'll make them static. Static for internal linkage, because we would want like this and then set health, but we'll just do get health in this case, and it'll simply be standard character output. Player health is, oops. Or we could, no, get health should be just telling you what the health is. Return player info. Well, would we want to do player info? I think it's actually better for us to just say player health. That way, if the name of this namespace changed for some reason, this would still be accurate. So I think all the stuff that's local should not be using explicit namespace stuff within your own namespace. So a global thing in a global namespace shouldn't be referring to other stuff via the global scope resolution operator. Or the scope resolution operator, assuming that on the left is this global guy. We should just leave it as is. That way later, we can just add whatever it needs to be if it changed. Maybe. Instead of having to change it. So we just return player health. And we could have another one that's set player health. Oh yeah, this could be cool. And then we could have int set or void set player health. And we need a function for declaration void set player health. Oops. And we want them to take an int new health value. Oops. Okay. And then we'll say player health. Excuse me. Int new health value is new health value. Coolio. But then we don't need to see assert here. We need it actually in here because we're going to use it in the get player health. And we will say right here, cool, we can do this. What is happening here? We're not returning a value in player info. What is happening? Yo? What? Oh, we're good. It was an old compiler error. I still don't know how to distinguish between the current stuff and the other. I guess it says no issues. If it's here and this is green, there's no issue. Okay, it's too fucking hot in here right now. I don't understand why it's so hot. The AC is gonna kick on in like 20 minutes, so I should be good at as is for a second like this. Okie doke. So we're gonna say we'll just do it here. So like when we're getting the health, we just want it to the player's dead. That's what we'll do. And technically in the game, you would just say, okay, set the player to be dead. We're not gonna fucking error and kill the program once he dies. Or maybe you do. Maybe I think standard abort just kills the program, so you probably still wouldn't want to do this, but you'd have something like an assert. You would just have an event like, oh, instead of returning the health, we just say, yo, return player's dead or something like that. Like if health is not 0, then do this. But in this case, we want to halt the program. Nope, this is like catching an error. And let's say the player shouldn't die. Let's say it's a game where you don't die. I don't know, like Minecraft creative mode, but you could fall off the world. What else? Yeah, sure. Let's just say you're a server admin of a Minecraft creative server, and you can't get anywhere near bedrock. You're just stuck at the certain Y level, so there's no way you can die. So if somebody dies, you want the shit to pause so you can figure out what happened and how can I prevent my people from dying. Okie doke. And we'll assert player health is not, well, you can't say that. So we say player health. So if we're going to say not less than or equal to 0, we have to say it is greater than 0. Boom. And it's cool here. This is totally fine. So it's 100 right now. Even if it was 0 here, we'll just value initialize it so it is 0. Sure, the second we call get health, it'll do it. But in this case, we could get health, then do some other stuff. But all right, cool. So we're now going to include player info here so we can actually use the shit there. And now we're going to say player info get health. And we're actually going to do, oops, we don't have that yet. We need to first include, actually, we do user defined stuff first to make sure that the user defined stuff already has all the shit that it needs. And then we do the other stuff. Instead of always letting it rely on this extra stuff later on, then we don't fix our header files, I think. Does that make sense? Let me 100% unpack that so I keep saying correct things. So if we use this and it turned out that it actually needed character input and output, and I had just hard-coded standard character output and not realized that it wasn't auto-populating anything, and it wasn't showing like, hey, you could just press tab. I just typed it through like normal, and then I ran it. Well, I don't want to include input output first, which then allows it to work, because I don't know if the header file would. The header file should probably have an error, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe there's something called character output in there, and it's okay with that. But then I include input and output here, IOStream, then it functions properly. Well, I don't want that. I want to include that after. That way we have this stuff first included, and then we have the other stuff. So if I have a variable and then I include a header file to operate on that variable, it will operate on that variable. And then if I then include another thing that's like that variable that this should be operating on, this thing will not be operating on it. It only operates on the shit it sees once it's included, because it's just like having a function. I can only call a function if it exists beforehand. If I don't have a prototype beforehand or a forward declaration, same thing, well, I can't call the motherfucker. He doesn't exist to me. So in this case, we're going to do include IOStream because we need standard character output. We don't need standard character input here. So we're just going to do standard character output. Current. I could type that in a better way. Standard character output. Player's current health is like that. We also want to end the line though. Oops, don't need that. Don't need twice. Okay, doke. And then we could say player info set player health. What in the fuck is happening here? Take this off because I'm not looking at a screen or at reading. Alright, we cool. It's like cuticle shit in my finger. Fun. Set player health to or set player health to whatever player health is minus something. We could have a function in here and we just call it like skeleton attack player, and then what it does is it just updates the player's health to be less than what it was, and then we can output it again. So we could say, yeah, so we could say, actually I could just do this. Void skeleton attack player. Skeleton damages the player, and we need to update the health to reflect it. So we say standard standard character output, skeleton strikes player for 10 damage. Cool. And then we say player info, info, set player health, and we're going to set it to be player info. We could say using player info at this point. Get health. So it's this minus 10. So we set it to be whatever it is minus 10. Because we don't have that variable here, we can't access it directly, so we can't say it minus equals 10. It's encapsulated, so we have to call a function to get it. So we just have, the only way we can update it is by passing values to this function. So we pass it its current value. So if it's 100, we pass 100 minus 10. And then whatever it is, if it's 80, it would pass in 80 minus 10. Cool. We're missing a semicolon here. What's the other issue it's having? Oh, because we haven't passed, which? Line 13? Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so instead of this, now we're just going to say skeleton attack player. And then we're going to do, yeah, we're just going to say void output player health, or void print player health. And then we can actually just take this whole thing and boom, take them here, print player health. And then skeleton attack player. We can just do it. Let's do it 5 times. Boom. Then we have a for loop. Attack num. And let's say first attack. And then we say attack num is less than or equal to total attacks, which we'll just say is 5. And I'd prefer this. I'd prefer just saying attack num. And we can have a constant, like how many times do skeletons attack in a turn. In this case, I'm just going to define it here. And we're going to say, oh, this doesn't have a data type. Good, great, super smart. This int total attacks. We'll just say 5 is less than or equal to total attacks. And then increment attack num. Cool. And we're going to do this 5 times. Okie doke. So it'll say probably, oops, what in the fuck is happening here? Okay. Oh, oops, I did another type. I don't know why I did that, but what were the errors it was doing? Was it doing an error for every single iteration of the loop? On 24. So it was saying type int expected. Oh, type int unexpected because it was an int type int or something? Or it already knew that it was this type? Or total attack being this type of an int. If we say this again, it's a different type, like an int. And then it's missing semicolons before this. What? Oh. I don't know. But that's the bug. Okay. Yep. So it's at, and we can actually just say, first we'll say, okay, we print the player's health at first. Oh, and actually we could just do this. Well, I want to print the player health after every attack, so we'll just do whatever, start game, and then it prints the player's health first time. So it's 100. And then, oh, he takes all this damage. And then now let's make it 10. This is where I would expect in abort. Bop. So we get 100 minus 10, all the way down to 20 minus 10, and then 10 minus 10. And then when we try and print the health, oh, we don't print the health and say it's 0. We don't print it. Oh, I did the assert wrong. Fuck. Well, this is good because I tested myself and I was wrong. I fucked up the assert. We want to do, because, so if we give this a logical AND operator and we give it something that's always true, then the whole expression will only evaluate to true if, or it will evaluate to true if this guy's true and evaluate to false if this guy's false. So the thing that's always true is irrelevant because this isn't an OR operator. If we said OR, then if the other one was true, it might fuck us up. But in this case, we could say the logical AND operator, and then we could say player has died, health hit 0. Cool. And then we could do that. And it will actually print out the full condition, the full expression rather. Or no, I guess it is the full condition probably. Yeah, it is. It'll do the full condition to show what failed. And in this case, it was this. because even though this guy's always true, because strings, or at least C style or string literals, seems like, or C style string literal, something like that, always evaluates to true, or yeah, to true when converted to a bool. So player health was not greater than 0 in this case. It actually hit 0 because the motherfucker died. So we say assertion failed. Well, what's the condition? It's player health is greater than 0, and the other part, player has died, health hit 0. So we add a description. String operand adds or describes the error. Cool. Which makes this shit more readable. Boom. And now we can make it 20. But the second we read it and he dies, the program is called. It could be something like let's say it's just the game ticking. Nobody knows what happened here. Let's just say 1 hour of your city passes. Okay. And then okay, so now you're the owner of this big city. And okay, time is passing. Or well, actually, we could say we don't even need to print the current health. We could say but then that gets the health. But doesn't. No, it doesn't get the health. So like something is happening like past. We could say past time, and then we could say time to pass, or we could say past time, time to pass, while past time is less than or equal to the time we're supposed to pass. We increment how much past time, or how much time has passed. Same shit. So we do this, and then let's say like once in a while, let's just audit the player's health. Let's just, for each player who's in the world, let's just audit the health. Let's just little player info, get health. How's our city doing? What's happening? They're dead. Sound the alarm or figure out the error, because this is fucking not Civilization. That's not a good example because people die in Civilization. I don't know. I don't play games where people don't die. Have I ever played a game where you can't die? I played Zelda, like all the games I can think of. Well, I guess Pokemon, but every game I've ever played, probably, or really close, is a game where you lose health. I mean, that's probably most games, though, still. But I guess Monopoly. That might be the one game where you literally can't die that I've played. Yeah, probably. Well, fuck it. You're playing Monopoly, and one of your players died because this Monopoly has health? The fuck's going on here? Or a little nice city sim builder? Why did you die? And maybe you set up a little thing. You set up a little health department or something. A little bit of that. And then they audit the health and check. And then you gotta fucking do something to show, yo, somebody has actually died in the city now. It's not just low quality. Somebody's dead. Well, boom. You have that error flag like that. But instead of an assert, which would kill the whole program, excuse me, as far as I can tell, you can do something else. Okie doke. Oh, wait, same shit. Yo, we also did this for unimplemented features. So we could do the same thing for like, let's just say we don't have well, I can't undelete the other shit, but we could say, whatever, in this function, assert, we could literally just assert, whatever, case that this will check for, or case that leads here, and haven't implemented player health yet. And then we call it, and then oh shit, something called the player health, and it was false there. So like I don't know, or player death yet, let's say. Player death yet. And this is the death animation, or play death animation. And then this is anim name, something like that. And then we assert, well, player alive If the player's alive, then we're cool here. But if the player's not alive, well, we haven't implemented the death animation yet, so we can use this to handle unimplemented shit. So if we have a case that goes somewhere that we haven't figured it out yet, well, we at least know that, oh, it's not just fucking error code 7 or just assert this. Why do we care again that... Why is there assert here that instead of code for the player's dead or player's health is greater than 0? Why? Why am I getting halted here? Oh, yo, Jimmy, I haven't implemented that yet. I'm doing that this afternoon. Oh, cool. Thanks for adding that halt there because you just reminded yourself to do it and me, so I know exactly why the fuck that code is like that. I was thinking about that all afternoon. Cool. All right. Can't breathe deep enough with just my nose right now. You hear that? If someone held my left nostril shut and my mouth shut, I would die. I guess I wouldn't. Oh, let me take a thing real quick. Bear back. Fast. Fast, fast, fast. Fuck. Please. Sinex severe nose spray. Okay. Other one. Oh! I can't get any more in there. Okay, that's it. I'll try. I can breathe in. I just can't breathe out right now. So, and I'll keep doing it so I can get all this shit in there. Ow! There's too much in there. Ow! Let's get it up in. Oh god! Fuck! I swallowed a little bit. Damn it! It went through my nose, into my mouth. Probably gotta swallow water so I don't get killed. Ah. It has to be going in my bloodstream if I do that anyways. Alright. It will fail with a useful error message. And we can determine how to implement that case. Cool. I can breathe a little better now, I think. Maybe 20% better? 15? Oh. Each time it's checked. Oh, true. So each time it's true, it's fucking things up a little. Oh yeah, so you do the assert, which is fine to have a performance cost in the beginning, and then you have a way of tracking where all your asserts are, because asserts don't affect whether. Oh, it's nice. Well, yeah, because when an assert fails, then it kills the program. So we could have it kill the program early or after something. So either when it's checking something before executing something, or something else. It's like an if statement. If this, then allow this. But instead of if it fails, that doesn't happen, it terminates the program. Well, we might not want asserts in our actual fully done programs. We might want to actually handle all those errors. And we have these checks in the meantime. And then once everything returns properly, and there is no way for the character to exit the world's bounds and bug out, well, if it can't happen anymore, why do I need the assert that comes with a performance hit every time we check it, which is, maybe it's every single tick. It's 120 times a second. Oh, that was helpful. Holy shit. I never knew about that as a kid. The amount of years I've gone, well, I mean, I don't get sick very often, but the amount of times I've gotten sick and couldn't breathe through my nose for a few days and just left with it. Didn't know I could fix it in 1 minute. Assert condition. Yeah. 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 Only active in debug builds. The question is, I was about to say, how exactly do you track it to make sure that all the asserts are gone? Do you have to fucking control F through all your... I mean, I guess you could do it based on the solution, and then it might show you all the implementation files, and maybe header files too, that have the assert in there. Oh god, it's so helpful. I'm so happy to use my nose. Damn, I should bring that to work for sure. I was like this all day at work. It got worse as I was leaving, but... No, not really. Fuck, it's been bad the whole time. Yeah, a built-in way. So if the macro ndebug, no debug, the assert macro gets disabled. Well, that's fucking cool. By default, otherwise what, you have to include it or something? It sets it as default part of the project settings. Preprocessor definitions. Oh, because those have to be defined probably by the compiler for you to even use them. Excuse me. Oh, I think the AC kicked in, so I'm going to turn the fan off in here and put my shirt back on. Oh, why? Audio kicked out. Oh, there's fucking cream on my damn Go XLR. I made Alfredo sauce. Alfredo spaghetti. Linguine. As I do. That happened. Great. Up. And bop. Okay. So, what does that mean? We can set it in the solution to be active or not, or include it or not, or what? At the project level, and you want them in the release builds, they're set as part of the project settings for release configurations, meaning that it, by default isn't enabled for release? Oh, and by default for release, it is in there. And if you want to... and we want them to work, we have to remove no debug. Oh, because no... Took me so long to figure that out. Oh, it's all coming out now. Fuck yes. This shouldn't count right now as programming time, but it's okay, it does. I'm still thinking about stuff. It's still in the head. It's still sitting there. I haven't said it out loud, but it's still sitting there. It's all loose. Coming out. Let's fucking go. Alright. ndebug is set along with other preprocessor definitions for the release build by VS Studio, Visual Studio. That's VS Code, isn't it? No, it's just Visual Studio. They were using 2 words, so I was wondering. Visual Studio. Which means, when we set it to release mode, it defines ndebug, and it seems like it puts it at the very beginning for the whole project. Meaning that all the asserts in the whole project, the whole damn executable, all those asserts will see no debug, and boom, done. Or rather, I guess at the compiler level, because it's pre-processing, so it happens at the compiler level. All those guys get killed and removed. Dead code. Not gonna trigger, buddy. The asserts are gone. Convert that bitch to source code, yo. Get him out. Yep. If it is defined, it turns it off. And by default, it is defined. Therefore, the asserts are already turned off in release builds. There was like a way I was doing that, and then it triggered another word or something. That was weird. Okay. Yeah, then you'd need to add it, otherwise your release would have some performance hits. Because it's triggered in the source code, yo. How many lines a fucking assert actually is in source code? Who knows? Excuse me. Wow, I'm breathing fantastic. Oh, so we could define it for some spots and then undefine it for other spots to turn off these here, but leave these. Gotcha. It ain't a statement, yo. That's an instruction for the computer to execute. This is preprocessor level, buddy. This determines what shit gets included before the computer even sees it. That's what the compiler allows in the source code, or in the machine code. Before any includes. Well, yeah, to make sure that the... Oh. Well, to make sure that it's everywhere. Oh. And that's because if these undefine no debug, and then we define it, I don't know if it overrides those or how that works. Probably not. But if there are asserts in here, and we don't want them, define no debug here, and then include them, and then boom. Oh, actually... Yes. Because then all this code is already here. Just right here. For main. And then in debug turns off all within this unit. But if this was here, it wouldn't be able to touch these. A static assert? The hell is that? Alright, so we could turn them off and on. We could say... Cool. What is it called? Bro. It's not an assert. What is it called? Bro. By memory? Huh? And debug. What's the error, yo? That's because there's no code? What you tripping for, yo? Dude. Really? Really? It was because X wasn't being used? It's in the condition it's being used. But the assert doesn't necessarily... Bam! Let's get it. What did I just do? Oh, not fucking Darkest Dungeon. And debug. Yeah, so we just have excuse me. Excuse me. So we're saying player is alive because if this is true, I guess we say what failed. Player is alive failed. No semi. Doesn't have scope probably. Oops. What do you mean? Wait, did I just remove it? I guess I did. What the hell? Thought I just put it in. Ugh. I thought I was gonna sneeze. Damn, it's a lot now. Oh my god. Dude, this is just liquid at this point. I'm putting it in a towel. It's too much. I like to use when my nose is fucked up like this, which is usually rare, but seems to have started ever since I started fucking programming. A few fucking months ago, basically. Or like a month or two ago. Oh, fucking nose has been out of whack. So I use these damn tissues over the past few days when I have to touch up the nose to keep it from hurting and not raw, which is what happens if I fucking scrape it up with the damn towel. All right. Go through 20 ticks. Oops. Can I say... Oh! I can. I kind of like this, though. Decrement this guy. And then print him. Oops. Oh, got to 1. What failed? Oh, players alive failed. But then we could do and debug to turn off the debug stuff. Oops, it's defined. And now we don't care about the assert. So we say, okay, player's health is -10. And we'd say, for like system messages, debug is disabled. And we could say, could we do like right here? If defined and debug, do this. And if, like that, we say, yo, by the way, notice debug is disabled. I'd rather have, what is it better in caps or no? I feel like caps might be. But then if we don't define debug, then we just say that. Cool. Cool. Okie doker. Now what is a static assert? Take the compile time instead of runtime. Oh. 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 So you're asserting stuff. Oh, yeah, you 100% do not have these boys in the release build. That shit's still flagging you done, son. GG, bucko. Failing a static assert causes a compile error. Oh, fuck. Unlike assert, it's a keyword. Oh, shit. It's already included, bucko. Thanks, Bjorn Stornstrup. Starstrup. Ah. These are the ultimate debugging tools. Let's go. So you could use asserts to check user input, but to make sure that, excuse me, I guess just to check logic beforehand. Excuse me. Oh, like you could create a test case and then feed it a bunch of shit and then compile instead of having to, and then call that in the code. And then compile without even having to run the program. So maybe you have to run the program and it goes through this whole fucking rigmarole of shit. Or you could just compile, but then it has to be known at compile time, no? So isn't it limited to const expression values? So can it not be used? Or and it'll say, hey, didn't evaluate to whatever, something known at compile time. I guess usually constant. What would it say? Or is it just doesn't work like that and it'll still trigger at runtime? But it says rather than, so it sounds like an if else. If we use a static assert, it's a fucking compile time one, yo. It's not gonna be run at runtime. If static assert, it's at runtime. Else, or it's at compile time. Else, it's at runtime. Condition, comma diagnostic message. Ooh, if it's not true, it's printed. Oh, because in the author's machine, size of a long is not 8. The size of an int is not 4. So you could use this like when a program starts to say, hey, yo, your implementation cannot hold the proper values that we have hard coded in. Because we have this huge amount of damage that you can do, and that's the max damage. Well, if you make a build that does that much damage, bro, you're going to see tiny numbers because you're going to get wraparound, son. And it's not big enough to wrap around twice to get that. Long story short, it's just inaccurate. So we do that. But then we could just say if size of is this, then we could just multiply or divide the shit. Everything does half the damage. Error something long must be. Oh, so it won't even tell you the condition. It just says what it is. Oh, it's not deactivated in release builds. Oh, so then. Oh, but then it doesn't have a runtime impact, so it's okay. It's like it's like a leaving a comment in your release build then. So it's useful in the debug, the prep phase when you're making the ship. Once it's made and it's actually good, then you don't need the comments anymore technically. But I mean, to be good, you come back to the comment, come back to the static assert. It's actually the same in that regard too, maybe. Fucking cord was coming out, yo. Yes. That's what I thought. Excuse me. Oops. So get player health must be greater than 0. Can't be dead. Oh, nice. It's a compile time, not runtime. And the only way to have a value for sure be known at compile time is by making it a const expression. Const may or may not, depending on optimization. It might never change. Doesn't mean it's known at compile time. Because it doesn't, well, it does have to be initialized at least to 0. Well, no, because it isn't known at compile time because a const expression can only be created using values known at compile time, i.e. other const expressions. Compared to a const, you could have const player health, and you could set that by the player on the spawn, or const max player health, but you don't know the max health until the player chooses a class. So the value isn't actually known at compile time. And you don't initialize it to be 0 and then update it because it's const. You can't. But you can just initialize it to be the return value of get player health. Well, in this case, we can't because player health isn't fucking known until this motherfucker's called. So this shit isn't known at compile time. This guy isn't created here. Okay, it's too hot. Fan time. Oh, but if you put assert Excuse me. Excuse me. Like you could have a global namespace with a shit ton of variables. Instead of searching to find each one of them, you could just say assert gravity is this and this is this and this and this and this and this and this and this. Compile and it will fail if one of those isn't right. Is not deactivated. Yeah, because there's no runtime cost, so it's okay that it's not deactivated. Well, there's no reason that it would be deactivated. There's no runtime cost. Well, I guess, but same reason for dead code. So, well, no, it actually, so it means that, yeah, it's not used. It's just dead code that's not, same thing as a comment, I guess. But dead code gets optimized out, so maybe it does get optimized out. Must. Ooh, now it's optional. Interesting. Oh, I'd rather just do it. Really? Pay for static assert. Why? Because assert exists in runtime, so if I'm running an intensive thing that takes a while, or I'm calling the assert a bunch, and eventually it has a performance hit, even if we're doing it in debug builds, so non-release builds, then we don't want that hit. And, well, we need assert to check things that are known at runtime, and static assert to check things that are known at compile time. So, is static assert super important though? It feels like everything that's known at compile time, bro, is known by looking at the code. It ain't gonna change. It's what the code looks like. So it makes sense that if you can catch something, catch it at compile time, sure. But an assert is basically just a condition that kills the, or that doesn't allow compilation, that you can check something. You can say, hey, in this file, this, so in player info namespace, which is in playerinfo.cpp, which is included in this header file, is this true? No? No compile. Instead of having to actually go in there. I don't see the use just yet. Static. I thought, okay, it's too cold. I'm turning the fan back off. I'm doing a few push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a 10. No. Technically, it was 10 when I hit the ground, but it's fine. So I count push-ups backwards because it's better that way, so you go down slow. I had a thought. Bro. Yeah, why the fuck are you guys doing this shit? Yeah, it's just doing some shit. Like, bro. I didn't know this was a thing. I ain't no damn girl. Hey, look at this. This is a thing? Bro. Just do this. Slow down and call it a day. Down. and up. Down. And up. I ran out of strength. Down. And up. Should have stayed on my heel for that, but whatever. I guess I'm weak right now. Okay. You want an ass, just do some squats. You're done. And if you're fat, stop eating so much. Whenever possible. That is carrying a lot of weight right there, buddy. Yes. Error handling is shit that we want to fix to redirect the player. Oh, he accidentally exited the bounds of the program. The tick that he did, bring him back before he's even a damn millimeter out. Do it when he's half a millimeter out. He exits, he's back in. Boom. No issue. We handle that shit. The damn sheep exits the cage and we curb him and we bring him back in. Gracefully, here it is. Gracefully bring him back in. We don't just blow up the we don't just pause the world and say reset. The sheep left. We do that to find that the sheep can leave. Assertions are like the things in Baldur's Gate or other games where you can say pause the game when my character's health, or like on the real-time Baldur's Gate ones, pause the game. You had events that when they triggered, you could set the game to pause. So when the character's health was under whatever, when the character's health was low, like 30% or something, pause the game. That is like an assert. The character's health is low. Boom. That is detecting something. Handling it would be the second it's low, you have your healer automatically set to heal. So the second we're there, we're back up. And we're down, oh, we're back up. We're down, oh, we're back up. We don't even detect it. It's just bam. Oh, you entered bad input? Try again, buddy. It's okay. We don't just abort and say the fucking input's wrong. Program's dead. Done. Open the program again. Yeah. No recovery, bro. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, there's a memory leak, but we fixed it, and then boom. Or memory leak detected, boom, kill it. Or memory leak detected, and we fixed it, by the way, but change your settings so it doesn't happen again. Close the program. And then standard exit. Error detected, standard at exit, clean up, something, couple things, finish up, clean up. I'll get the inverse and we're dividing by something. Inverse of 5 is 1 over 5, it's 0.2. 0 in that case. Well, it's a double, so 0.2. Yep. And if this is a function that we call, if this is known at compile time, both, huh? Yeah, because we didn't handle this shit. Mm. So you have an assert for your debug build, and it asserts that x is not 0. But if that gets compiled out, you have maybe a condition to say, hey, if x is 0, then do this. Input this. There it is. Excuse me, as you'd expect. Yep, we assert it, but then could be compiled out. So if it's 0, we do something else. We say, hey, blah, 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 this. Character's dead, by the way. Yep, to detect shit. That way we can handle it. Detect unoptimized thing. Assert frame time must be this, or average frame rate, and it detects it, it counts it every second or something like that. So at every second, 60, 59, 84, 22, 60, 84, 63, 84, 84, 20, 89, 71, 72, 78, 90, 40. Oh. Yo, we assert that the frame average, that the FPS must be greater than 60. If it's less than 60, halt that bitch. In the game, after the assert is compiled, and we've tried to optimize it and fix it, but if it still happens and your PC is shit, and we throw an error, we say, yo, or throw an exception, and then, what is it called? Throw and then handle it, throw and catch, or throw, there was something else. There's like another word that made it make sense. So, we throw an exception, and we output some shit saying, hey, low frame rate detected. Change your settings, motherfucker, or get another computer. Because with my programs, if you need a new computer, it's over. That shit has to be optimal. It's got to be good. None of this AAA dev shit. Detect, handle the expected stuff, and in the asserts, once we have handled them, we can leave the assert in. That way, once the assert is no longer triggering, maybe it does during runtime. The static assert will not trigger, because everything's known already and it can't be changed. But the regular asserts can. And if so, then we check and we do stuff. So we basically have our if halt for debug, and then after that we have just an if something else to handle it. If issue and debug, halt the bitch. If issue and release, handle it. Ideally, handle it in debug, and then don't have to handle it in release. But if we can't, like the frame, something we can't control, something we can't predict. Cool. Improperly written. Yeah. Yeah, because we're not checking for it. So we're saying if the weight is greater than, or we assert that the weight is greater than, so it'll be false if the weight is less than 500. So it's only going to allow fat fucking characters. Yeah, so it's failing to detect the bug, and it's doing both, bro. It's actually reporting when where none exists. So if we enter a 130-pound character, 160-pound character, normal weight, why is it flagging? Oh, because we asserted the weight would be high, not low, not normal. Not low, not high, normal. but we asserted that it would be not normal. No side effects. So we say if, and then that's it. Well, yeah, because if you want other shit to happen, well, when no debug is defined, brother, when ndebug is defined, that side effect ain't happening, bucko. So if you're depending on that side effect, can't do it. Yes. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Or corruption isn't likely to occur. So, like, if you have this big call stack or data that's in the middle of being written or something like that, and it'll permanently change something and write something in the computer that'll be changing, if we abort then it'll fuck the shit up and it won't finish writing and it won't close properly, and you pull your USB out too early, and allegedly the shit that was happening didn't finish, and then, data's gone. So make sure you abort after stuff is okay. You do, yeah. Yes, so no side effect. So we abort when we're checking some stuff. We abort before we write some stuff. We abort after stuff has been written and attempted to be or has been read and attempted to be written. We try and abort or try and assert in safe spots. Scope creep. Oh yeah, this is using scope in a different way, not regular program scope. It's a local scope, global scope, file scope. Nope, this is the scope of the program, meaning the function, the purpose horizon. Yep. Does the shit work? Software verification. Unit tests. We test little pieces before we implement, and then we add, and then we test the whole thing, and then we test a little piece before we add, and then we add, and then we test, and then bum, 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 bum. So unit testing action. Integration testing, so we do this, and then we do the integration testing. We do the unit test, and then the integration testing. Yep, we need that big old branch coverage. So, oh damn, quiz time is quick. Only one question, holy shit. Okay. Yeah, so we need all the branches to be covered, full branch coverage, maybe not full code coverage, but full branch coverage, which should actually get full code coverage. So branch coverage is what we want. You could do full code coverage, but if all statements execute only for this branch, then they only execute with these values maybe and not those values. So they only execute in this order and not those or something else. Now, well, I'm trying to think. If this, if that. Or yeah, so if we do, if there's an if else, there's no way to immediately in one thing pass one value and then it evaluate to both if and else. Instead, we just call it twice, once with one value to get those things and once with the other. That allows us to get all the shit from both possible branches to test all the options in the program. Excuse me, user input that's low, user input that's too high, etc. Oh, loop coverage, you do 0, 1, and 2. What happens at 0 iterations? Does it exit properly and do good shit? 1. What about multiple? Probably good for the rest. Oh, so this code executes properly this way, not this way. So we say, oh, okay, the happy path is if frames per second is greater than 60, we're cool. Sad path, we don't want it to be less than 60. When that happens, though, handle it, tell the player to change something, and then we're cool. Or automatically change the graphic settings to now improve them, the frames, and handle the error. Yeah, so the buffer's our guy. We're putting information into, flushing him to go to another spot, and we gotta do things to him. Because if we're putting the buffer, it's like a tube. I put a tube from a circular hole over a triangular hole. Well, and I drop some circles down the tube. Well, they don't fit in this hole. Or it's a triangular path with a triangular thing at the end. And I'm trying to put circles in there. They aren't fitting. In fact, they get stuck. Maybe it's a small circle. It goes a little, and then it gets stuck, and I can't put other shit in there. Now I have to clear it so that other people know that they can go back through. And I actually have to remove all the shit so that they can go through. So that they know they can go through, and they actually can go through. Or so they can attempt to go through, and that they can actually go through. So the buffer. Put this in the buffer, and then we flush it. We can stack up a bunch of shit in the buffer, and then flush it when we want. Or check in there, what's next? Peek. EOF? Are we at the end of the file? Huh? What's in there, yo? Is there \n? What's happening? Better not be no EOF. Otherwise, I have to fucking assert. Validate all the inputs so the program works for all the shit the user can be doing. Yep. Error messages, debug messages. Precondition, we check something before doing stuff. Then we check something after. And we want to stop here or stop there. And then there's the invariant where we're checking something while we're doing stuff. Like a do while loop where we say do. And we're doing some stuff. And then we have a while. Well, the while is kind of the post in this case. A for loop, I guess, is it. We start the for loop. And in the for loop, not after the for loop, not before the for loop, in the for loop, we increment something and check something in the for loop. And then we continue. We're checking the invariant. So it could be both ways. We set the player health, and then we check, and we do a post condition like an assert right there and say, hey, is the health good? Okay, cool. Or before we set the health, we check something else, which could be a post condition of something else. So a precondition of something might be, and it's probably a post condition of something else. Or it could be like, before applying damage to a character, do a precondition. Does the character have resistance to the damage? Because if you do, well, we don't need to take the damage. It's a precondition. Doesn't have to be an assert. We don't have to kill the program. But we do have an if statement to check. So if statements, a while loop, Could be a precondition and a postcondition. It's a precondition before we execute something. And it's kind of a postcondition. Because after we execute it, it must be true in order to continue. So it's a postcondition for that, but it's a precondition for the others, I think. And assert? Yeah. It's true unless there's a bug, because we should be handling it. We use it to detect shit. So if it's detecting, there's a bug. Because we use it to detect bugs. Yeah, assert. Yep, and debug. And then static assert is at the compiler level. So we can check, hey, are all these values good before we fucking run the program? Must be const expression. Yep. Yeah. Because in the release, ndebug is already defined by default in Visual Studio. Impossible and handle. Handle possible stuff. Assert stuff that shouldn't be possible. So we handle everything that should be possible. But even the stuff that's not impossible. Even the stuff that is not possible, we've made it possible. No, we haven't. But we've handled it anyway. Even if North Korea sends the nukes. Even if they send the nukes, we have an assert. But at runtime, the assert will be disabled due to the preprocessor definition of ndebug. N-D-E-B-U-G. Debug. And if that's the case, ndebug will be disabled. Which means we need a condition that can handle it just in case. If the frames die in your game, if the profits dip in your company, you automatically sell some stuff to get the company back in business. I can't. The Trump impression was okay. It was like 2 out of 10 for a while, and then it dropped down to 1 out of 10. It's the most errors handled ever. The most error handling program in the world. Okay. Implemented a game of high-low. Yes, handle all input. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we get the input. And we handle the shit, yo. We have another function. We call it, yo, handle this shit, yo. Check it. Is it good? Is there extra shit? If so, call this guy. Ignore line. Done. Implicit type conversion. Oh, so shit that happens automatically, like a bool trying to be written to converted to an integer. All right, so do and excuse me. Oh, high low. Random numbers, Mersenne twisters again. Ah! Alright, we're done. That's it for now. More of this tomorrow because no more new information today. Now we are studying later on, so we'll get a quiz going. Ay, ay, ay.